What is good, everybody? Welcome back. I took a little break, but baby, I'm back. All right. And honestly, what pulled me back is exactly what we're talking about today. Okay. Welcome back to the Self Care Revolution. If this is your first time, welcome. All right. If you've been here before, you know that I am nobody's teacher. Okay. I'm not trying to show you how to do something. I'm here because I'm a person who wants to include self care more in my daily life. And I just come here to talk about, how I'm doing that. All right. So feel free to chime in, be a part of the conversation. If you're not following our YouTube channel, definitely check us out there. It's the Self Care Revolution as well. Okay. Now, we're going to talk about consistency because consistency is that's what leads to the results. All right, how consistent you are at something. All right, and I just want to say that we're all consistent. All right, it's just what you're being consistent in. And I had to take a hiatus because work, sometimes takes over. And here's why work takes over for me. I'll have all these grand plans to create stuff and work on my content and stuff like that, and then work will require so much mental energy that I just can't I can't follow through on the things that I need to do for myself, which is a reason why I'm always talking about self-care. Okay. So yeah, I took a little break, but I'm back and we're just going to start off with just the basic concept of consistency. All right. A lot of people feel like consistency is the same exact thing every single day, the same intensity, and that is not true. It's not true. If you think about going to work, yes, you may go to work Monday through Friday, same time every day, right? But you are not putting in the same level of intensity. Sometimes you have days that are double the days that what you get paid for, right? And sometimes you have days where it was smooth sailing. So consistency with anything else is the same way, right? Even with a plant can look like it's not even gonna make it. You know what I'm saying? And then you go back and you return to water it, and then all of a sudden it perks up. So consistency really is just about coming back to the thing that you said you were gonna do. All right. And so for me, it's not about having a streak like, oh, how many days did I work out this week? No, it is whether I showed up to work out at all this week. All right. It's a return, right? I missed weeks of uploading this podcast. But I'm here anyway. It doesn't matter. Like I was working on other stuff those weeks. Shout out to you guys who stayed faithful to the podcast while I was gone. But the point is it still counts. I'm still here. Okay. And that's the same thing with the workout. Like, cause I like to use workout because a lot of people struggle with being consistent in workouts and they don't realize that they are consistent. They're just not consistent in the right things. Okay. So, but if you've watched my podcast, you've probably seen me wear a shirt that says steady beats perfect. And the reason why I made that shirt is because a lot of people will waste time trying to make sure that they start at the perfect moment, do something the perfect way, and all of that before they even start. Okay. But when you start something just, you know, with the lack of knowledge, you're trying to figure it out. It's messy in the beginning, right? That messiness beats perfect because you actually started something. Like, take, for instance, the iPhone. All right. The very first iPhone, I don't know if you guys were around when the very first iPhone came out, but if somebody presented you with the iPhone present day in 2026, you would scoff and laugh in their face because that first iPhone probably sucks now. You know what I'm saying? But what happened was they put it out they put it out when they put the first one out when they put it out, and then because they were consistent in, going back and tweaking things, we're now at the iPhone 17. Okay. And if they would have never started, if they would have came out with what they felt was the perfect thing, like, I guess we could use many companies in that place. There's companies that came out with stuff they thought was perfect, and now we don't even see it anymore. Okay. So iPhone is a perfect example of consistency. It does not have to be perfect. It just has to be done. Okay. You just have to do it imperfectly until you can do it better, especially when you're talking about workouts, because sometimes people are like, oh, well, I want to make sure I have all this equipment, or I want to make sure I have the right clothes, or I want to make sure I know the right form. And that's all fine and good, but you could also start with something that you already know how to do. Walking works, you know what I'm saying? You can even find one of these videos at home where you don't even have to leave your house to do a walking video, right? So the point is, it's not about doing it perfectly. It's about doing it messy, doing it imperfectly at first. All right. And if you listen to this podcast, you have heard about the Daily Five. If you don't know what the Daily Five is, I need you to stay tuned until the end and I will go over that. But the Daily Five is not about having a perfect day. When I do my midweek check-ins, it's not about, oh, come chime in and tell me that you're having a perfect week. No, because 9 times out of 10, it's not perfect because we can't control it, right? We can't control certain things throughout our days or whatever. But my point is, it's about controlling what you can. And the Daily Five you can control, okay? And you can control your consistency by showing up the next time that you said that you would show up to whatever it is that you're doing, okay? So that sounds easy. I know, easier said than done. And what usually gets in the way is ourselves, okay? We start overthinking. We start being like, oh, I don't feel like I'm ready yet, right? Or I want it to be perfect, like I said. And perfection is like just a killer, okay? That is like, what do they say? The what is the thief of joy? I feel like it's perfection, because if you wait until something is perfect, you're never gonna experience the joy of completing something messy. I mean, the person who, like, for instance, if you had a paper to do in school, and one person was like, I'm gonna find all the right things to say, and they just kept on preparing, but you just said, you know what, I'm about to just write this and then see what I come with, and you turn it in. That person who was waiting for perfection never even got their paper finished, but you turned yours in and you got a C+. Okay, think about that. That person who didn't turn it in, they had way more answers than you. They knew what they were talking about. They read more books, but they did not start. They did not do it. They did not get it done. So you cannot wait I'm sorry, I was going to say, you cannot wait to overthink. You cannot wait to feel ready. That never comes. You just have to do it. You know what I'm saying? And you're not going to get anything polished until you're able to get it out and get feedback, because you're not the only one that needs to look at it. So whatever it is, like if you're working on something, or if you're doing something, like, you actually need to do it in order for you to actually realize that you can tweak it. Like, it's just like sending an email. As soon as you send that email, you realize all the mistakes that you might have made in sending the email. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, I could talk in so many analogies, but the point is, we have to stop getting in our own way. We are the thing that gets in the way. All right. uh I'm pretty sure you can relate with water. You might be like, oh, I'm gonna drink water all day today, and then next thing you know, you get to work and your coworker is like, oh girl, I got you your favorite latte from Starbucks now, and then it starts, you know what I'm saying? You got Starbucks latte for breakfast, and then it spills over into that sweet tea for lunch. You know what I mean? If you drink energy drinks throughout the day, there's that, and you haven't had any water. Okay, so we need to stop doing this. Listen. I can think of an example for everything, because a lot of people are probably doing this with sleep as well. All right, or saying they're gonna go on walks and don't go on no walks because, oh, I don't have the right walking shoes, or, oh, whatever the case may be. All right, we get in our own way. So that's why I wanted to definitely talk about this, because it happens to me as well, especially if work is kicking in, because it's like, okay, your work is the main source of income. So I need to make sure everything is straight for that. But at the same time, I could probably figure out how I could still show up for my own stuff, right? That's the whole thing that we're trying to work out, because I don't care what nobody say. Our parents were not as busy as we are these days. They did not have to remember nearly as many passwords, or a lot of the stuff that we have to remember these days. They just did not have it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, TV actually ended at night. Like, you had to go to sleep because it played the Star Spangled Banner. Now you can watch anything you want whenever you want. So anyway, my whole point is, consistency. All right, consistency it has everything to do with how your results are going to be. All right. And consistency is actually my word for the year because I have not been consistent in the right things. All right. It's already testing me. It's only March. All right. But consistency is my action word for the year because no matter how I look at it, whether it's self care, whether it's work, whether it's working out, consistency is what I need to be working on. All right. And if you like me, continue to listen along. Okay. I hope you are encouraged and inspired to do the same because what I want to be consistent in is my daily five. Now, for those of you who aren't familiar with the daily five is our hydration. What kind of food are we eating? Are we getting enough sleep? Did you move your body today? And how is your prayer and reflection life? All right. Because self care is not something that you fall off of. It's really just something that you keep coming back to. And that doesn't mean that you have to do it like this next person and they since they do a certain thing every day you got to do no you have to do what works for your life. So the whole point for me is consistency. So let's get into me, right? I have this podcast, I have a workout regimen, I have a full-time job, I'm a mom, and there's lots of stuff that I'm responsible for doing, okay? But the most important thing is me. I got to make sure that I'm healthy enough to show up for the people. Oh, I got a new nephew too, y'all. I got to make sure that I'm healthy enough to show up for the people that need me in their lives. And and that to me is fulfillment, okay? So, what I got to do a better job at is practicing what I preach when it comes to the daily five. All right. Because how well you take care of yourself bleeds out into how well you're going to do at anything else, whatever it is, because how well you take care of yourself has everything to do with how you show up. All right. Are you well rested? Are you eating real food? Are you feeling healthy? You know what I mean? Are you dealing with health issues? Okay. How's your prayer and reflection life? Because if you never stop to reflect on things like where are you actually going and what are you doing? Okay. So that's just my philosophy. We're not teaching any classes over here. We're just, like I said, we're just regular people talking about the things that come along with trying to be consistent and taking care of yourself every day. All right. Every day. So I want y'all to have a great week. Be on the lookout for the midweek check-in on YouTube, okay? You can also find me on Facebook at Self Care Revolution. But definitely share this with a friend who you feel like they're always saying, "Oh, I'm gonna do this next week," or "I'm gonna do that next week. I'm gonna do this next week." Listen, consistency is all we need to focus on. And if you having trouble doing that, listen, let them know I'm over here struggling as well, but we're gonna make it through. All right, we're gonna make it through. I'll see y'all in the next episode. Okay, the word for this week and for me this year is consistency. I'm your girl, Demita Joe, and I'll see y'all later.